So in those many conversations that I've had with leaders, our customers, but like I said, across sectors, the dilemma is always about, what use case, what strategy, what do we do? And the last time that Sandy was in Dubai, we got talking. We said, why don't we look at how to set up an AI office for customers? And they're doing this in other parts of the world. We signed together to look at how to dwell with Middle East as a region together. And with those many conversations, we said, as Intertech, we support these businesses and government. Why don't we start with ourselves? And as we speak today, we just started a couple of days back the AIification of Intertech, along with Intertec Science, as a consulting partner to help us through the journey. And we're coming through many firsts in these last few days itself. And the whole idea with AI is not to look at how to re-engineer your business, but really how to reimagine your business. And that's where having somebody as a partner to help you do that, because many of us have spent many years doing what we do every day. Having somebody to make us look at the mirror and see can we do it differently really takes you and takes AI as a value into a very different journey. That being said, I'm probably going to lean now to Sandy more. He's got years of experience, having worked in different parts of the world. And having spent, Sandy, the last 6 months working with us and our customers here, what have been some of your observations when it comes to, the world of AI and where you've seen customers at?
Yeah, thank you, Nikhil, for having me for this discussion. It's obviously very exciting to be in Dubai. It's the country on the move. UAE as a country obviously has, as you said, wants to be the first. But I think more importantly than the first, it wants to be the boldest. It wants to be the most influential and most impactful country across everything that it does. So very excited always to come here. And over the last 6-9 months that we've been working with your customers, I think I've found that energy and the readiness with the organizations to look at reimagination, to reimagine their workflows, to reimagine the way they run their businesses. And that's been very exciting. It's also very exciting because Intertech as an organization and as a team is also helping its customers go through the process and go through the journey. We've seen so many conversations which have been very encouraging, both in the government as well as in the private sector, which cuts across maybe in the supply chain space, whether it's predicting the behavior of customers, identifying how can we do marketing better, how can we do finance better, how can we reimagine the HR processes, how can we relook at some of our workflows in a completely different manner. And that's the most exciting piece. And frankly, I'm telling you that, while we work across the world, this is one country, UAE is one country which is actually leading in thought, leading in practice, leading in execution across AI. So yes, we've done business in UK, Europe, India, US, but this is the place to be very proud of, because this is leading the way in execution. And I'm very happy that we're partners with together to help our customers go through that journey.
Well, thank you. I think, we've been fortunate, I think, as a country because of the leadership of the country itself being so visionary and being very bold in terms of taking steps. I'm very confident that, the organizations here will end up going very quick. And I think AI is a game of velocity, ultimately. And I think here we're ready to go. I think Dubai is an example of how you've seen the last 20 years the country. When you transform a city like this, I think there's many firsts that we can always create together.
I think what I see here, Nikhil, is very interesting, which is not true for any other market, right? Here, the UAE government and various government departments are far ahead in their planning, far ahead in their AIification journey as compared to private sector.
Right.
So it's the pressure being put up, as I say, positive pressure being put up on the private sector to use AI for their benefit. In other parts of the world, it's not that way. In other parts of the world, the government is lagging. The private sector is pushing hard to become, to reimagine their processes.
Yeah.
But there's so much to learn from the UAE government and its various departments on how government agencies can work together to create AI as a positive force and reimagine the way they do citizen services. So I think it's a great place to be in.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think, having spent these few, of course, beyond what you've done with us here, what would you say are some of the very interesting use cases or transformation stories that you've seen with organizations?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, of course, there are some standard use cases that we see, right? The standard use cases, in the supply chain, optimize my entire supply chain. How can we look at our marketing very differently? So we're obviously using new marketing tools to create AI ads, for example, or look at the field force, right? How do we train them better? How do we look at performance management better? The whole invoice management has been a reason for a lot of companies to ask for how do we look at AI to predict the errors and enhance fraud management and things like that. What we are also seeing in the last 6 months is the whole agentic workflows, right? So a lot of companies are coming to us and saying, how can we create an agentic AI workflows for various of our services or workflows? So finance, HR, sales, marketing. So a lot of agentic requirements are coming up. Conversational AI is also another big area of focus. So look at multilingual support, the NLP support on conversational AI. Obviously, putting up a conversational AI bot on your website is table stakes now. Every organization needs to have one, and we are already in talks with multiple organizations that they are, and we're helping them become a more conversational on their websites. But more important than the website, which is public facing, is their internal workflow. So how can I use conversational for their HR process and deliver HR services better? For training services, for sales trainings, for performance management, so there is enough and more to be done in this space, and this we are partnering in these change that is happening in the market. So lots happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the beauty of it is like what we've been discussing. The path that people take, I think if you look at, there are loopholes that people can fall through depending on how they decide to do the AI journey, right? So I think what we've decided together to do, for example, as Intertec, we have an AI first strategy. And we said there's no point. So the last 1 year, we've done several use cases, right? So be it our software engineering, be it our testing, be it our sales operations, there are multiple use cases we've already played with. But with so many moving parts, we said you need to have some normalcy in terms of at least thinking about what is the road to ahead. And hence, I think putting that strategy. So we've very cleverly said we want to look at what's the roadmap going to be for the next 18 months, right? So at least we know there's a backlog, there's an agile methodology of getting there, while technologies may have various moving parts. So how do I reimagine organization probably comes first before you look at the use cases, right? And because that gives some method to the madness around the use cases. So I think I think it's a great partner to have. For us ourselves, as we walk through the transformation, we're putting our AI strategy together. And I hope, the same thing we very much ready to do for organizations across here in the region. And with that,
Nikhil, I think it's an important shift in the market, and I'm glad that Intertec is taking the lead in that. I'll explain to you why I'm saying it's market shift. So what happened about 3 years back when AI became democratized with the ChatGPT movement, as we call it, and everybody wanted to become an AI company and things like that. The first 2 years of that AI was largely about implementing AI use cases, right? And we discussed some of that across all functions, but it was largely pilot driven. It was largely, let's see what AI can really do for us. Let's see whether it can really make an impact, because there's something shiny out there. And of course, the board is asking us, what are we doing on AI?
Yeah.
So companies started adopting AI as a pilot of various use cases. What we are seeing together in this market is that it is now moving from use cases to full embedding of AI in workflows, in various functions. And that is the most exciting journey because it actually has a direct impact on the profitability, on the growth of companies and things like that. And I'm glad that Intertech is also taking the lead of doing the same internally. Because you can now prove it to your companies, to your customers, that it works for us. Why can't it work for you?
Absolutely.
So, putting the entire strategy in place, and as we call it, the AI operating system, because it is not one use case or multiple. It is how they all integrate, and interact with each other to make a lasting impact and create a competitive advantage. Is what we are going after.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's for that. Thank you for the partnership.
My pleasure.
We've just started, so I'm sure there'll be many journeys we all walk together.
Awesome. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Thanks.